Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. We are doing a market recap for week ending August 16, 2024. So what has happened since the unwinding of the carry trade, yen carry trade? We have this huge drop, and on Monday, I'm sure most of you remember, it gapped down in the morning and then kind of came back halfway by the end of the day. And then since that time, this is Nasdaq, it has rebound from this 200-day moving average, and it has rebound really strong. Like, it looks like a V-shaped recovery at this point. So what happened this week? Well, looking at IBD direction here, we went for a market incorrection to confirm uptrend on Tuesday. And so they raised the allocation from 20 to 40%. And as you can see, we have a fall through that day, and we'll look at the chart in a second. And then and that's due to primarily the PPI data better than expected. And then on Wednesday, we continue to rally with better CPI data. And on Thursday, you can see we have a subsequent fall through day that day. Again, we'll look at the chart in a second here, and that's due to better retail sales number and also jobless claims number. And then Friday, we finish off the week really strong with more gains. So on Monday, we are still at this level here, right under the green line, which is 10-day moving average. And then on Tuesday, you can see there's this gap up right there. And it gapped above the 10-day and it closed near the 21-day. So that was the follow-through day. Then on Wednesday, it barely climbed, but it didn't go down, so that's a high and low. And then on Thursday, it gaps up again, right here, sorry, on Thursday, and it gaps up again, and on retail sales number, and then on Friday we finished the week like pretty much above the 50-day moving average, which is the red line. So overall, this is a very bullish action. Again, we can see the volume bar here is higher than previous day, and those 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, because the gap, they close over 1.25% than the previous day, and so those are qualify as follow through days. So now we have this rally, like I said, very strong slope right now. And so we really have, like, since this bottom here, we have really 9 days of rebound, if you consider like everyday equivalent. So what that means is most of the leaders should have very similar behavior, right? They should be rebounding from that low, and they should be either already at new high or near new highs, or as you can see here, this index, on Nasdaq, we are more than slightly halfway recovered since this bottom, right? You can see we are more than halfway, and now we close above the 50-day moving average, which is really healthy. And if you look at the weekly chart, you can see we have this 4 weeks down, then we have, and it bounced off the black line, which is 200-day, and then we climb back, from the previous week, because it closed at the top range, and then this week it followed through and closed, now at the red line. So basically, we have recovered really fast. And if I go back to daily chart, at least in the last year, I mean, we have this bottom run right here from the bottom, and you can see the action here. It went about 10-day and the red line 50-day, and then we have 1 day of pullback here, and then after that it continues on and pretty much recover and make new highs after, and then it pause after the new highs, and then it continue, and then it and then it pulls back and then continues again. So very similar action here. The bounce wasn't as strong. You can see there was lots of testing lows here, and then here as it get towards the new high, it starts to be more stable, right? So every rally is going to be different. This one, like I said, so far has been really strong. I think for each stock you're looking at, you should look at the volume, how it has behaved in this uptrend so far, whether there's enough volume to support the stock on the buy side. And then the key moving averages will be very important to see where they're at. But most of the leaders, like I said, are already out of the gate. They're already at new highs. So as this thing continues to recover, if the rally continue, then, you know, again, I don't expect this slope to continue. This is a very strong slope. Generally, you know, you can see something like this here. It bounced really strong, and then it kind of, the angle would start to, you know, not be that strong, right, as it goes up. And then it start to flatten, and then it may continue again, or it may pull back. So that's kind of like, you know, some of the things we are going to look forward to is like, you know, again, I don't expect this slope to be this strong. It might even go sideways next week, or even pull back. Some people are calling for a pullback to the pink line, which is the 21-day right here. That will be healthy as well, because the uptrend will still be intact, and then the slope will, you know, become a little bit less, you know, steep. You know, because when, yeah, it's very hard to sustain a very strong slope. Yeah. So S&P looks much healthier. From quite a few perspectives. One, it never touched the black line, so that's the 200-day moving average. Second, so it didn't correct as much as the tech, right, in the Nasdaq. And then the slope is still very similar, very strong. And then the third thing is it's way above the 50-day now, right? You can see right here it gap up quite a bit, and then now we are very close to the previous high. So that's incredible. So this looks, you know, a lot stronger from that perspective. Although, you know, same thing with the tech stocks, right? When they sell off harder, but then when they bounce, they could also bounce really fast. So who knows? Like Nasdaq could bounce really fast too, right? We don't know how fast it could bounce. Even though, like I said, the slope is already incredibly strong, but you know, it could bounce really strong. Who knows? Like, it may surprise a lot of people. Okay, let's look at Dow. So Dow, also looking at the slope, is also very strong. So again, similar to S&P, it's near new high, right? Very close to it. It has recovered more than halfway, and this one also didn't touch the 200-day. Russell, we know this one was the weakest of all during the correction, just because of this 3-day route here that is really bad. Like it's just sharp correction there, and then now we bounce. Now the bounce is much weaker than the other three indexes. You know, I mean the only good thing is, like, you know, like first it's just about halfway, right? So it's not more than halfway, it's just about halfway. It did touch the 200-day when it came down. Now it's bouncing back, and we're trying to recover the halfway mark. But the good thing is it is now above all the moving averages, right? Just because this one has underperformed, so the red line is not as high, the 50-day, and so it's, you know, so it's clear, like all these moving averages here, short term anyway. And so now we are, you know, above. But this chart obviously look a little bit, you know, not as nice compared to the other charts. If we look at weekly chart, again, we came from a long way, right? Like 2100. This highs here are the, you know, challenge here. It looks like we bounced back above, you know, without too much of a problem. So that's a good sign. So it's 2141 right now, right? So this could be, you know, for small caps, this could be possible the last shakeout right before the big run. I don't know. If you listen to Tom Lee, he's super bullish. You know, he still thinks there's a high chance of a 50% run here for small cap, just because they've been lagging for so long, and because interest rates going to come down soon. It could spur a lot of buying, right? So anyhow, just keep that story in mind. We haven't seen that yet. Every time it got challenged, but who knows? This could be the one last big shakeout before, because people who bought here at the top here, they're way underwater right now, and either they have sold or they just gave up, right? Who knows? So usually when when a lot of people give up, it tends to go the other way, right? Just like the Monday sell-off here, almost 2 weeks ago, like that Monday morning, when everything goes down, everyone kind of give up and sell out, and then market has recovered since. So that's the psychology of the market, right? It's very hard to say, hey, it'll keep going. Of course, it could if there was some bad news, right? But in this case, we haven't heard anything about the Japan, yen carry trade debacle stuff. So far it seems to be stabilizing. Haven't heard anything. The other big thing is obviously the WIX, right? This also shocked a lot of people. I think many people tried to short the market and they got punished big time in the last 2 weeks here. A lot of people lost a lot of money trying to short the market or buying puts and stuff. It just keep coming down like super fast. And they say this is probably the biggest drop in VIX in such a short time frame or something like that. Haven't seen this before. So this this again could give for people who are not rhyming with the market right now, they're probably starting to give up because they're just like, hey, well, I don't see anything good, right? But at the same time, we're hearing stories like, Warren Buffett buying Ulta Beauty, which is kind of weird. Like, why is he buying a consumer stock that has tanked so much? Of course, he sees value in it, but the fact is, is there something happening in the consumer market that he sees coming up in the future? Like, is it rebounding and then this stock's gonna rebound? Like, I don't know, but that seems to be happening. And then, I think the other story was Bill Ackman, right? Investing in Nike, right? So again, like, if the whole world the economy is going down, which this stock has been again killed, like, for a long time now, and now it's rebounding, just like Ulta Beauty is since the news, right? So why are these guys who billionaires investing in like really, I mean, they're big consumer stocks, but like, are they counting on the economy to stay really strong? Like, what's going on, right? So again, sometimes, not saying we follow the billionaires, blindly, but just question yourself, what are they doing? Why are they doing this right now? Are they seeing something good? And yeah, so why is the market so bullish this week? With 2 follow-through days. Well, let's look at the economic data here. So this is from the IBD newspaper. So we have inflation cool in July to a fresh 3-year low. So you can see the core consumer price core index here dropped to 3.2%. So we are on a downtrend big time. And then we have retail sales jump right here, which is believe it was 0.3%. And then we have jobless claims also fell to 227 here. So it's also on a downtrend here. So all this kind of give a sense of economic soft landing here, and we know the Fed is most likely going to cut in September, a quarter point. That's a high percentage right now. So of the futures. So all this combines give the market a very positive outlook. Now we are finishing the earnings season, so there's not many stocks going to report. Like, most of them have already reported. So from an earnings perspective, it seems like at least the ones that have reported and a lot of them have done well, since that correction, right? So because the correction was more broad, so most stocks are actually on an uptrend right now. So that's something to again, I tend to trade with the trend. So I'm not trying to like, oh, is this rally for real? I don't question it, right? I just follow the trend. And most of the stocks that we mentioned last week continue to do well this week. So so make sure you follow the video for the stock list that I'm going to go through. And a lot of them, like I said, continue to make new high. It's almost like it's untouchable right now, which is a little bit scary, because whenever I get that feeling, I always feel like a pullback is just around the corner, right? So it's possible that we're going to see a pullback this week. And so for some people, this may be an opportunity to get back in if you miss some of the leaders. So anyhow, something to pay attention to. So I like to look at the advanced decline line, and this is for NYSE. You can see Friday we have 1,400 stocks up and 800 stocks down, and you can see here at the bottom here. So here's the index. We are, like I said, you know, probably less than 3% from the high here, but you can see the advanced decline line is already pretty much at new high right now, which is very good, because that means that the breadth of the market is strong, right? We have more stocks up than decline, and they're making new highs right now on this line. So that's very healthy for S&P. Again, very strong on the S&P side. And because that is a more broad-based index, we're seeing a lot of sectors doing better right now. With Nasdaq, which, you know, a lot of time represent the younger guys and the tech guys, and you can see the advanced decline line is coming back up, but is nowhere near the previous high right here, right? So as it comes down, if it came down really sharp, we make new lows, but it never, and then when it recovered actually not even half. So definitely the techs are not as strong. Like the stocks on the Nasdaq is not as strong as the ones on S&P. You know, here we didn't make a new low. I mean, not a low like compared to like previous times. It's very strong here on S&P. So let me jump to the accumulation distribution tracked by ourselves, and here we can see, like, you know, starting Tuesday we had the follow through day, and we start to see more stocks being accumulated, right? And this is the net accumulation. And then we have the distribution one on the stock side, so way less than the accumulation. So there's way more stocks being accumulated right now on volume. Industry groups, very similar trend. We continue to climb till Friday here, and we have 59 industry groups that got accumulated by end of the week, and then 10 got distributed. So it went down as well, right? So not only we have more accumulation, but we also have less distribution. On the sector side, this is again the net accumulation minus distribution. So technology, you can see it rise. Retail also rise. Industrial also rise. Health also rise. Commodities also rise, and financial also rise. So at the end of the week, you know, it rise on pretty much all sectors, and generally I don't see one super strong here compared to others, right? So whereas here we saw financial, that's, you know, jump to 100, but it has kind of gave back quite a bit, right, since this correction. So but right now it seems like it's more you know, similar type of trend for all the sectors, not one really taking over the other. So again, we're going to do a video on the stock, my top 100 stock list. Make sure you follow that. So next week, what's coming up? Well, we have the U.S. leading economic indicators for July. So that may be important, because, you know, because this is a leading economic indicator, it might signify whether, you know, whether the economy is still strong, right? That's very important for the market. And then on Wednesday, we have the meeting minutes come out from the FOMC, and then by Friday, I think Jerome Powell will speak at some event, so that could also give some guidance of what they're thinking right now. So that, but other than that, there's not too much. And then we have Palo Alto, Workday, Kawa, right, reporting, and then we have the retailers Target, Macy's, and Lowe. So those will be important as well. So yeah, generally, you know, it's very quiet week. We are in the last 2 weeks of August. Usually volumes start to die down because of holidays. People take holidays and stuff, and so something to watch out for. Let's look at each individual spider sector group. So here is XLK. We came back up to the red line, which is 50 days. So again, very similar to Nasdaq. We're just sitting there a little bit above the red line. So again, the technology group, like, we'll see if it can continue. We'll break it down by the semiconductor and software group in a minute here. But let's continue with this spider sectors here. So next is communication services. So this one looks more tight in terms of the action. It has bounced back quite a bit, and it's way above the 50-day line now. It looks pretty healthy, so that looks good. Next is retail. and retail is above the red line, and so again also look very healthy here. We are coming closer to the previous high here. Then we have the discretionary. Again, discretionary very similar to the technology group. It's just riding the 50-day right now, so recover roughly half. So then we have staples. Staples has been strong just because, you know, during the correction, I guess a lot of funds probably move their money to a staple just to protect their losses to be less. And now it has made new high and continue to hold that high, so that's very impressive. Industrials, yeah, look at industrials also doing really well. It's coming back to the previous base high here, and now it's you know, holding very strong there too. We have buildings materials, so here it looks pretty good as well, above the red line. Utilities, you know, it hasn't corrected as much and also been moving up slowly, so so utilities obviously not you know, a growth area, but you know, depending, but some people consider some AI stocks the growthy area, but right now it is, you know, kind of closing on new highs, which is kind of looks good. Healthcare, I think this one, yeah, this one I think doing really well right now. So the healthcare sector surprisingly are making new highs and holding up those highs pretty well. And energy is kind of near the 50-day line. This is on the downtrend. 50-day line slope the red line, so it's not as healthy. So not sure. The oil prices are kind of WTI at 75, I think. So it hasn't moved much. So, and financials has you know, again we had this sharp pullback right here, 3-day. You know, a lot of small caps got hurt because they're mostly in the regional banks area. But he has bounced back really strong. Look at this. So yeah, I mean, it could continue this rally in the financials. And real estate, again, more defensive. Seems like it's holding very similar to the utilities. So we're going to dive into the mega cap 7 in just a moment. But before that, let's look at the semiconductor group. So right now, you can see it's still under the red line, so it is underperforming the general technology group. So the chip sector has rebound. You know, they corrected the most, but they also rebound. But again, they have recovered, not quite halfway yet. So we'll see if this can continue or not. I think that's the biggest question right now for that group. Then we have IGV, the software group. This one's slightly better, and on the stock list in video we're going to see some I wouldn't say like, you know, known names, but some of the newer names in software has, you know, done better, which is kind of interesting. Anyhow, we kind of mentioned that last week too, so but it seems to continue on this week, so we'll look at that as well. And then here you can see it's doing pretty good. Like it's not that far from the high as well. So this act very similar to better than the XLK technology group. So let's jump to individual stock. We have Nvidia. So Nvidia is probably the stronger leader right now, just because it has recovered past the moving average, and this was one that didn't touch the 200 days, so it didn't correct it as much as some others would. And it's looking really strong. You know, it's bouncing very strong right now, and you can see the slope. And you know, again, we'll see how this looks. There's the trend line. It looks like it has come above it, which is coincide with the red line, which is 50-day here. So that's really good technical action. Let's just look at a couple more that's not in the mega cap, but like ARM. So this one is much lower. You can see it's only near the 21-day. It hasn't even come close to 50 days, so it's definitely underperforming. Let's look at AMD. Same thing here, hasn't come close to 50 days, so underperforming. Let's look at Qualcomm. Similar, again, underperforming as well, still on the downtrend line. The only one that, so beside Nvidia, the other one that did really well is Taiwan Semiconductor. So this one also above 50-day. Both of these are in my top 100 list. So they're doing really well. It has bounced a lot. So So that's the semiconductor group. Let's go to the software side. Let's start with Microsoft. This one also have corrected a lot. Again, below the 50-day, underperforming. I'm not sure why they're underperforming. So that's Google look at similar, way underperforming. Down the 50 days is actually sloping down now. I think the only one was Meta, right? Meta is doing really well. Like, you know, it has come back almost to the previous high here, and it's still holding this slope here. Yeah, so looking really good, Meta. And then we have Amazon. Amazon still on the downslope line, and the 50 days starting to come down as well. So yeah, besides Meta, it seems like everything else still on a downtrend. Yeah, it hasn't come back to 50-day. Let's jump to Apple. So Apple is acting really strong. It continues. It was acting really strong before the correction. Is now doing the same thing again. Very strong slope. I mean, this is definitely a V-shaped rebound. Looks really good. And then we have Tesla. Tesla is slightly better because it's now above the 50-day and all the short-term moving averages. So it did come up again. Volume is slightly better as well on the buy side. So those are important things to look at. Let me go back to Meta just to see what the volume looks like. So on this rebound, the red is where the selling is really low. Friday, a little bit more selling came in, but we'll see if that holds. So overall, yeah, the mega caps are definitely not all doing well. So it looks like this is probably the reason why Nasdaq is, you know, I'm not saying it's underperforming, but it is, the S&P is definitely doing better. So yeah, look, so we'll see if this continues next week. But yeah, I'm very surprised that some of the software big guys are underperforming. Like, you know, who knows? Maybe they're just gonna rebound a lot slower. Like Microsoft, I was thinking this could be a leader besides Nvidia, but it hasn't really, you know, take off as strong as I hope it will. It should be by the 50-day now, but it hasn't. So Apple seems to be the one taking leadership here besides Meta, and what else? That's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please like it, subscribe, and any comments you want to put. I'm going to be doing a video on my top 100 stock list very soon. Stay tuned to that. Thank you.